that's the
Sure.
reason why large language models, if they don't have at origin that meaning inside, they cannot have meaning, so they cannot have consciousness. But now that I define that like the exergy financial markets, I was thinking, okay, I'm learning something that it is really about consciousness itself. So I decided to move into an investigation of the art problem of consciousness, and I approached it in literature because I thought that I
Hmm.
had the need to deceive the word illusions to inspire the intellect. So a straight conversation deep into science or philosophy would not have been enough to inspire our intellect to see beyond what we can experience.
Hmm. Yeah, there's got to be
And
a merging of
exactly,
multiple disciplines.
multiple disciplines, which is very interesting for me because when I defined these biological macro foundations, time and uncertainty, I realized that that
Hmm.
could help understand, be a new framework for the understanding of other aspects of reality. So now, while in quantitative finance, quantitative models are a Photoshop picture of a long distance reality, is not the reality. The same happens with language and meaning. Everyone talks about generative AI, large language models. Some pretend that they're conscious just because they can be very eloquent. But I say we gotta be careful here because language is that model, is a set of symbols that
Right.
wants to represent a landscape that is reality. In this case, is our internal reality. There is meaning. So it's like a Google Map versus a paper map. Of course, Google Maps are much better than paper maps. Now they are 3D, they're interactive, but they're still a map. They're not the landscape. The same, the words we use are symbols. They represent a map, but they're not the meaning we have inside. Easy
Hmm.
example. If your beloved says, then I love you, that's nice. However, do you know how much? Or even if you don't know, all you
Right.
hear, right? And then maybe Italians try to convey that through opera, emphatic expressions to give that meaning more meaning, right? And
Right.
of course, you
Right.
can say there is context for you to understand, but still, you're always detached from somebody else's consciousness just by using the language. So the connection is to be somewhere else. So language is just an attempt. And that's the
Sure.
reason why large language models, if they don't have at origin that meaning inside, they cannot have meaning, so they cannot have consciousness. So language, most likely, is a byproduct of consciousness, not its origin. So you cannot do the other way around, start from language and lean into consciousness.